In our last lesson, we looked at the package.json file and how it nominates dependencies that are installed whenever we run npm install in our app. So we installed NodeMon that way last time, thereby extending our app with some functionality that we care to use. Okay. So I'm going to show you another way to do that now. So you can write that stuff in here, but sometimes you're not going to know what the version number is and you might not be confident that way. So if we go back to the NPM website that we were looking at in our last lesson, and if you didn't do the last lesson, I suggest you go back and do that. So we're going to go back to the NPM website that we were looking at before. Let's look at NodeMon. And there it is. This is a page that I was showing you last time, or similar to a page I was showing you last time, that tells you all about the package and how to install it and how to use it, etc. You see what it says here? It tells you to install it this way: npm install -g nodemon. There's also an npm install save dev.node space nodemon. So it doesn't tell you to write straight into the package.json file. It tells you to install this, you do this. And that's what we're going to do with some further packages. So it works both ways. I can nominate the dependency right here if I'm confident enough, or I can install it and ask the installer to write that in this file as a dependency using this extender save. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that with all of these things and explain what they are as I go. First thing to notice is that we don't have a dependency called mongoose in the package.json file right now. So I'm going to close the package.json file and the app.js and the index.js that we were looking at last time, and I've got nothing open now. I'm going to stop my web server, which we started by typing nodemon into the terminal. And I'm going to hit Control-C on my keyboard to stop that, and I'm back in just to the prompt in the Jump Club folder now. Because I'm in the Jump Club folder and that's an app folder, I can take this instruction here and write it in here. And I'm going to say, please install the Mongoose package. That's all it does. So if I was to look at Mongoose back in the NPM website, I'll have an instruction that says this is how to install it. npm install Mongoose and save. Now this save is important. It's not important to how the website functions, but if you do it, it will write it into the package.json file as a dependency. Here it is. Mongoose was written in here. The version number was taken care of automatically. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all of the other stuff, and I'm going to explain what each of these things is. They'll become more and more clear as we use each one of them as we build our app. So Mongoose is in there now, and Mongoose is a connector for Node.js to our MongoDB web server, database server, our MongoDB database server that we're going to store our information in. So it's an easy way of creating models and writing to our MongoDB database server. I'm going to now install this one, which is .env. Now, .env is a thing that's going to allow us to have a secret file in our web app that no one else can see. We're going to need to write instructions into our web app that things like how to connect to the database, for example, with the password in there. And we don't want other people to be able to see that. So we're going to have a secret file called .env that no one else knows about, that no one else can see, but it's going to hold secret stuff like that. The next one is Passport. Passport is what's going to allow us to have users on our website. So Passport's really powerful. It allows you to create users. It allows you to give them a password and then give them a session. When they hit the website, they'll be able to start a session and start using your app. Passport Local is a policy or so what do they call it? A strategy that Passport uses when you are working with a local database like we're going to be doing. So you need Passport Local so that you can tell Passport that you're using a local database strategy. Furthermore, we're going to use Passport Local Mongoose here. We're going to install that because it doesn't know that we're going to be using a Mongoose database, a MongoDB database. So we're going to tell it. So by now we've said use the Passport, which gives us our users and sessions, Tell it that it's a local strategy that we're using, and it's a Mongoose local strategy, in fact, that we're going to use. That's the database. Express validator, we're not going to use this too much. We're going to show you how it works, but we won't see it working. But it can be used to validate information that's coming back from the browser to see that if you're expecting text or a number, you're getting text or a number. Express Flash is the next one I'm using. That goes in there too. Install that. NPM install Express Flash. What that does is allow us to send messages back to the user by storing an alert in memory, and then when we get to a new page, feeding that alert to a message that can be then shown to the user. And the last one is Express Session, and what this is going to do is keep a session alive for the user so that we can pass information around as they navigate pages and save information that lives with them throughout the time that they're using our web page, our web app. Great. So all I did was type or copy. I've copied and pasted that stuff into here. You'll type it in. So each time you do, remember to put this save in, and you'll end up seeing all of that stuff in the package.json file. All of the stuff that we just talked about there has gone into the package.json file as a dependency, and we'll be able to use it now in our app. Okay. Good. So we've now got our app. We've got our app. We've now got some extra functionality that we're ready to use. We know how to make that come alive via the app.js file, and we're going to start bringing out some of the functionality of this stuff right now.